So, with the first Rugrats Halloween in Season 1 squared away, we now jump 8 real-time years to Season 6. The only real difference between this one and the previous is that it takes place after the Rugrats' first movie, which is to say that Dill is now here. But what's interesting about that is that Season 6 is also the last season before Kimmy is brought in from Rugrats in Paris. Which, if you would consider each new addition to the cast, Susie, Dill, and Kimmy signaling a new phase of the show, means we're nearing the end of the third phase, especially given that from Season 7 onward, the intro officially changes. Also, this episode is not technically about Halloween. Instead, the episode revolves around the telling of a ghost story, which, as it shows some faces you may recognize, means I felt it deserved your attention. So, the episode starts inside Tommy's room. The babies and Angelica are having what I want to say is a sleepover, but to be more accurate, they're going camping indoors while it storms outside. And while the babies want to continue roasting their marshmallows over the battery-powered campfire, Angelica proposes something a little more big kid.
What's that? Tell scary stories.
Here, very basically, is what she's proposing. Angelica is going to start the story, and the babies are going to take turns keeping it going. I should also say that the kids are telling it like it's physically happening to them. So, the scary story begins with a spooky old house with one light shining in the attic, with Chucky being the one to walk up to it to investigate.
See? Wow, that's really brave, Chucky.
With Tommy's encouragement that it should be Chucky's turn now, Chucky takes over the story to detail walking into the house. The house having changed into a nice house with a comfy sofa and a bowl of candy on the table, forcing the story to a premature end. Given that's not very yes-and of Chucky, Angelica demands he continue and tell it right this time. So, under duress, Chucky changes the house to being creepy with a beat-up couch and yucky candy, with Angelica adding in her own little additions, including a strange knocking coming from inside a closet, revealing,
There's the icky, stinkiest, creepiest, scariest peoples anyone ever saw.
taking advantage of their presence in the story, the twins take their turn, leading Chucky up the staircase, which momentarily starts leaking drool, i.e. Dill's only contribution to the episode. After that's cleared up, the twins switch gears by having the story versions of themselves and Chucky ride a giant caterpillar up the stairs. Unfortunately, Angelica, thoroughly unimpressed by the baby story, and assuming it'll take all night for them to get to the attic, insists on resuming telling the story. And to his credit, Chucky tries to put up some measure of resistance, but he didn't predict Angelica turning the chair he's sitting on into a ghost. So, to derail her from scaring his friend witless, Tommy butts in to turn the ghost into himself. But what he didn't predict is that Angelica can play the self-insert game too. So, which Angelica informs the babies that to access the attic they need a key, which is currently hidden behind one of the doors of the house. And, as it turns out, behind those doors is the cast of Aaahh! Real Monsters. Okay, so, Aaahh! Real Monsters was another show that Klasky Shupo produced, and had actually ended 2 years before this episode. The purple guy is Ickis, the goth candy cane is Oblina, and the guy having to hold his eyeballs is K-Room.
It's Crown.
Ah, yes, of course. Normally they attend their school underneath the dump in New York City, but given this is non-canon, it doesn't really matter. But regardless, this does present something very interesting. Some of you may not know this, but aside from as told by Ginger, Rugrats has technically crossed over with every single one of Klasky Shupo's other Nick series. Obviously, Aaahh! Real Monsters right now. Later, there was Rugrats Go Wild with the Wild Thornberrys, and Rocket Power crossed over with them in a comic story. I'll admit there isn't really a point to me saying anything about this, just food for thought. But regarding their present circumstances, the babies can fend off the monsters with the novel concept that pudding would taste better than them. And whilst Angelica yells at the monsters going downstairs for pudding, Tommy realizes the key is actually under the attic door's welcome mat. Making their way up to the attic with Chucky being momentarily halted by Witch Angelica, which gets resolved by the giant worm, he joins his spooky friends in the attic, revealing that the light is coming from the giant nightlight in a very cozy bedroom. And after all that commotion, the babies are awfully tired, so they're gonna go to bed, with Angelica scaring herself with the explanation of the situation causing her to run out of the actual room.